Good morning. I, Dr. Hardik Joshi, welcome the distinguished guests, teachers, students, and my friends for this joyous occasion of launching the podcast series of JG Institute of Business Administration. We are honored to have with us Dr. Shilpa Das as chief guest and our own Dr. MP Chandran as our guest of honor. The life journey of Dr. Shilpa Das and Dr. MP Chandran is full of inspiration and motivation. I would like to highlight their few milestones in brief. Dr. Shilpa Das is currently the principal faculty interdisciplinary design studies at NID and head of PhD program at NID. She is alumni of Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, and has done her PhD from Tata Institute of Social Studies, Mumbai. She is the editor, author, and creative visualizer of the book 50 Years of the National Institute of Design 1961-2011 and coordinator of the book Indian Crafts in a Globalizing World. She has been visiting faculty at several universities in India and overseas like Marist College, New York, Royal College of Arts, London, Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne, School of Arts and Design, Lukrine University, Milan, IIT Bombay, IIT Hyderabad, Delhi University, and on and on and on. Our key area of teachings includes subjects like comparative aesthetics, semiotics and communication, history of design, Indian storytelling tradition, design for disability, craft documentation, literature, and culture. She has also been playing a key role in core advisory board of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, USA, for the projects which are related to the global health and women's sexual and reproductive health. She has also been involved in the outreach and consultancy projects with different ministers of Government of India. Good morning, madam. On behalf of all, I welcome you.
Thank you, Professor Hardik Joshi. Thank you, Gigi.
Our guest of honor, Dr. M.P. Chandran, is the Executive Director of JG Group of Colleges, Trustee of Asia Charitable Trust, and President of JG University. He has devoted decades to Asia Charitable Trust and was prominent personnel in carving the education philosophies which are being imparted at various colleges and schools running under Asia Charitable Trust. His vision and dedication to achieve an international level education has placed all colleges and schools running under Asia Charitable Trust at prominent level in Gujarat and India. Good morning, sir. I welcome you on behalf of all.
Good morning and thank you.
The first series of the podcast, SaamVani, is all about the understanding of our students with regards to major financial events that has created history. In today's fast moving world, where time is a luxury, we have taken an initiative to spread knowledge regarding historical financial events that have taken place in India and at global level, and innovatively and modern in a modern way we are trying to broadcast it. Each episode of the first series of the podcast is compilation of the work done by our students to which voice is given so that it can spread across the globe at the speed of sound. Now, let's spare a few seconds for our soul to rejoice itself with a short and symbolic prayer. Yeah. Now, I invite Dr. Pawan Pandit, Director of JG Institute of Business Administration, a charismatic personality, a great leader, and a visionary man who always strives for perfection in all work, to address the audience and tell a few words about the podcast.
Good morning, all of you, and pranam. Pranam to Dr. Shilpa Das and pranam to Chandran sir. On this very lovely occasion, I first of all invite the Almighty over here to bless this event as well as this entire podcast series and the entire endeavor of the students of JG Institute of Business Administration. Dr. Shilpa Das, my teacher, my guru, when I was studying at my graduate level, and a real motivator. Pranam to you and welcome. And thank you so much to grace this event. I welcome you to this event and bless the children and this event as well. Chandran sir, who has always been asking us to see to it that how can we develop our students better and how much more can we give them the responsibilities to make them a better human being for their holistic development. I welcome this fantastic motivator of Asia Charitable Trust and of entire JG group of colleges. Welcome, sir, to this event. Um, just a little small introduction. Hardik sir had actually been interacting with students and asking them to find out something or the other related to financial events which has created history. Uh, we were almost on the verge of coming out with a magazine. On giving little more thoughts, we thought that magazine is one thing, and I'm talking in front of two very voracious readers. I know that Shilpa ma'am is a voracious reader, and Chandran sir as well is a voracious reader. But with the second thought, the new generation is engaging themselves with the work at the same time trying to get something as a text through audio, and podcast is this fantastic new platform through which we can make them understand quite a lot of things. And so rather than coming up with a magazine, we thought of coming up with a podcast series. And not only this, this will be a series of 52 different episodes and series which will be on different areas, the content of which will be developed by the students. So I welcome all of you, specifically those who have joined this event virtually through our YouTube live streaming, my students, my faculty members, and everybody. Welcome to this event, and I request you to bless the event so that uh, this entire endeavor of the students goes very, very well. Thank you so much, and welcome to this event, sir, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. M.P. Chandran to address our audience. It's really an honor to have him listen live. Just his presence at a place makes its aura positive and vibrant. Dr. M.P. Chandran.
Thank you, Hardik and Pavan, for your kind introduction. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be in the august company of Dr. Shilpa Das of NID. I have heard a lot about you, ma'am, and it's indeed, as Hardik told, an honor to be with you. And it is good for the students to hear from a stalwart like you. As you might already know, Asia consists of almost 21 colleges and 3 schools. We offer all the boards, state boards, CBSE, ICSE, and IB and Cambridge to the students of Ahmedabad. So, flagship colleges have been BBA. It's also because of the enthusiastic director that we have in Pavan Pandit. Though coming from a literature field, he has accredited himself as a able leader and a motivator for business students. And it's a culmination of months of efforts by Dr. Pavan Pandit and his untiring team that has resulted in today's launch of SaamVani. I have no words to appreciate them, but indeed, I'm that JG is what it is because of people like him and our students. It's also a testimony to the innovative approach adopted by all the colleges and JG BBA College in particular. We always believed in running education institutions with one philosophy. Whenever you are in a dilemma, ask only one question: whatever I do will benefit the students? If yes, do it. If no, not. So the credo has always been do what benefits students. And this is another example of uh, what the college does, what the principal and the faculty member does to ensure that students learn and come out with skill set which are not necessarily a part of the curriculum. And from my side, I have always believed in management by exception. So I do not interfere in what Bhavan Pandit does on a day-to-day basis. In case he has got a problem, he can come back to me. I may or may not be able to help him to resolve the problem, but I may be able to advise him from my years of experience. So, but this freedom has given Bhavan and his team to try new methods of teaching and learning, introducing students to innovative ways, and also making students realize that in today's fast changing world, it is not what you learn that is important. It is your ability to learn to learn that would matter. When Pavan came to me with the idea of podcast, I did not know what podcast is. Of course, our school children used to come out with a lot of podcasts, and I did not find much difference between a radio and podcast. Then I just realized that podcast is nothing but a new avatar of the radio, which we were very, very used to. And FM has brought it to a different level, and podcast is taking to at another level. And this, I'm glad, would imbibe a lot of, inculcate a lot of confidence and maybe would open up a window or two for alternate careers. I'm very, very happy about the initiative. My best wishes to you. Do whatever you can. Do not interfere in what the students do. Let it be students' work and let them take credit for that. Let them take advantage of the opportunity given, and you be the guide, the philosopher, and the nurse to nurture them. Thank you very much. By the way, Dr. Das, we are starting a new private university, JG University. It commences its first program with a College of Liberal Studies, which would offer a 4-year honors program where specialization at the fourth year would be in math, science, arts, and all. We are trying to remove the barriers between art, science, and technology. Let us see. It would be my pleasure to come and talk to you and invite you to us in the
That's
endeavor.
wonderful.
Thank you. And I wish Pavans this endeavor all success. And my dear students, do your best. The world is yours to conquer. Thank you.
Wish this new endeavor all success.
Thank you.
May I request Chandan sir to say that line for launching the logo, please, sir?
Oh, I hereby launch the logo of SaamVani.
You're listening to SaamVani.
Thank you, Chandran sir, for your wonderful and kind words. Now I request Dr. Shilpa Das to share a few words with our audience and inspire them from her fantastic life journey.
Thank you, Professor Hardik Joshi. Thank you to the JG Institute of Business Management for inviting me to this very novel event. And greetings to my to respected dignitaries here, Dr. Pawan Pandit, Dr. Chandran, and Dr. Hardik Joshi, and dear students, of course. So podcasts, are a great way today to listen to news or entertainment, as we know. And as Dr. Chandran said, technology is never really new. It simply recycles the old, potentially in a new way. So back in the 60s and the 70s, when we were growing up, it was quickly perceived that the audio cassette tape was the perfect medium for such recordings. But what is new in the second decade of this century is merely the method of delivery. So the word podcast also is new. It is an amalgam of the prefix pod, which makes it a standalone object, while the suffix makes it something that is sent out to its audience and belongs to the same family as the familiar word broadcast or the less familiar word narrowcast. Okay, so podcast specific software, which are sometimes called podcatchers, can do really fancy things, such as tracking a podcast status and so on. And today, anyone can produce an audio podcast if you have a computer, if you have an internet connection, if you have a simple program like GarageBand or Audacity. And content wise, the audio podcast can be a recording or of a lecture or an audio transcript of a radio program or a personal kind of recording of just about anything. So they have become increasingly popular these days, as we know, and the reasons are several. For instance, people have grown accustomed to audiobooks. We also have a professional responsibility to and listening to spoken material. So they are a novel concept. Podcasts allow you to listen to topics of interest at a very convenient time. So think of them as personalized radio stations, without commercials. Or they let you read without using your hands. With widespread adaptation of podcast technology, now they exist for almost any topic imaginable. Also, podcasts are not just for news. They are also for education and pure entertainment and video podcasts. They are also called podcasts. And in a way, your YouTube videos are that too. They allow demonstration of skills. Imagine a video podcast series which demonstrates basic skills for something like nursing, for example. Now, the podcast clearly has very high educational potential. It helps to develop reading, speaking, writing, and listening skills. It helps to acquire information. It helps to develop technology skills and applications. You can learn interactive ways to communicate knowledge, to develop a very positive academic self concept, or it helps you develop a sense of purpose, a sense of audience, and student ownership at large. I'll demonstrate that how in a short while, and to encourage active participation and a learner centered focus. So basically, developments in podcasting tools today have been on the rise. And most recently, we have mobile podcasting, which has become possible. Now, with mobile podcasting, the process of audio content creation, formatting, and distribution for use on various devices is usually transparent to the user. So it's a very democratic device, way. And the need for transparency is important because students and you all transfers between social spaces on one hand and educational spaces on the other hand. So podcasting involves a shift from e-learning to m-learning because it provides another way of widening student learning experiences beyond campus settings through the use of mobile devices like laptops, mobile phones, MP3 players, and iPods. Now, there's another very important thing in terms of education, how they are important. Because nowadays, in many universities overseas, what they have started doing is besides the traditional podcast content that come top down from the lecturers, today it is driven by students and created by students. It gives them the opportunity to create their own podcasts to co-construct knowledge along with their teachers. Gone are the days when you thought that the teacher is standing on a platform and looking down at you and imparting divine wisdom. So today students are active agents on the path to acquiring knowledge and engage in very high level cognitive processes. Thus, these student generated podcasts are ideal for use in what are called constructivist teaching approaches, because this production process facilitates a very critical engagement with your material, with your content, which leads not only to you acquiring effective learning, but also to provide the foundation for subsequent learning. So that's a very, very important thing. And one of the last things I would like to say is today, and more importantly, because we live in a globalized world, we live in a world full of diversities. Podcasts are created by varied kinds of marginalized identities, making for very high quality programming for diverse audiences than ever before. So one place to look at is the website of a podcast collective which is called Post Loudness. This is just for your information. It's called postloudness.com. It is based in Chicago. It aims to create a community of shows by women, people of color, and people from the LGBTQ community, queer identified hosts. Its goal is to encourage and support underrepresented voices to produce podcasts and expand diversity in programming. You can also browse directories, like Pocket Casts, Overcast, the iTunes store on your iPhone is also a good means. But there are very specialized podcast directories like Podcast Land, Podcat, which are also very unique, and there are many more. These also help people with disabilities because they transform, especially the blind, they transform speech into text. They analyze and index this text to create a database, and you can filter search results by network, show, category, people, or topic. And anyway, so I think with this brief introduction, I'll end here. And I think with this, I should say that I launched the official podcast of SaamVani. Thank you so much for patiently listening.
Ma'am, it was beautiful.
You're listening to SaamVani. The deal between Reliance Jio and Facebook Limited. This is a compilation by Rangani Raj, a student of semester 6 at JG Institute of Business Administration. The abstract goes like this. Reliance Jio has made an obvious killing in its 9.99 stake sale to Facebook, pocketing a mind-numbing rupees 43,574 crore. But more importantly, the two entries are now joined at the hip, with the potential to share humongous large customer bases of 400 million of WhatsApp users, 328 million Facebook users, and an estimated 388 million Reliance Jio customers.
I request the audience to please like, follow, and subscribe JG Institute of Business Administration's Facebook page, Instagram handle, and YouTube channel for regular updates of the episodes of the podcast SaamVani. Once again, on behalf of JG Institute of Business Administration, I thank Dr. M.P. Chandran and Dr. Shilpa Das for their esteemed presence on the inaugural of our podcast. We are thankful to Vinny Patel, Prathamesh Bhatt, Khushali, and Creative Box for their artistic and technological support. We are thankful to Team JGIBA for their rock steady support for the event at all stage. We are also thankful to all the students, teachers, friends, and all the viewers for blessing the inaugural with your presence. Jai Hind, Jai Jai Garvi Gujarat.